I went to the hospital with hope in my heart and came home with empty arms. My name is Laura Bennett. I live in Portland, Oregon. This is my story. It is not a happy story. It is a story about love and loss. I was going to be a mother for the first time. I waited years for this. I dreamed about it. I planned everything. I bought tiny clothes, soft blankets, little socks. I painted the baby's room. Yellow walls, white crib, a rocking chair in the corner. I thought about the day I would bring my baby home. I imagined opening the door, carrying my baby in my arms, smiling. I thought it would be the happiest day of my life. I didn't know it would be the day my heart broke. It started in the morning. I was in the hospital. The room was bright. The smell of medicine was everywhere. The nurse smiled at me. She said, "You're going to meet your baby soon." I smiled back. I was nervous, but happy. My husband held my hand. His hand was warm. Mine was cold. The doctor came in. He checked everything. He said, "It will be okay." I believed him. Hours passed. I felt pain. It was strong. But I kept thinking, soon I will hear my baby cry. I closed my eyes. I prayed, "Please let my baby be safe." Then something changed. The nurse looked worried. She looked at the doctor. They spoke in low voices. I asked, "What's wrong?" No one answered. The doctor called for help. Another nurse ran in. I felt my heart race. I could hear the machines beeping, faster, then slower. I kept asking, "What's happening?" Still, no answer. The pain was different now, not just my body, my heart. The doctor said, "We have to act fast." His voice was serious. I was scared. Everything moved quickly. Bright lights, cold hands, the smell of gloves. I wanted to cry. I wanted my husband. But they pushed him out of the room. Minutes felt like hours. I heard whispers. I heard footsteps. I heard my own breathing. Then silence. No crying. No baby's voice. Only silence. The doctor looked at me. His eyes were sad. He didn't have to say it. I already knew. But he said it anyway. I'm sorry. My world stopped. My baby was gone. I didn't understand. I didn't want to understand. I screamed. I cried. I begged. Please, please bring my baby back. No one could. They wrapped my baby in a blanket. So small. So still. Too still. I held my baby. I kissed that tiny face. It was cold. It shouldn't be cold. I counted the fingers. 10. I counted the toes. 10. Perfect. Perfect. But not breathing. I stayed in that hospital room. Hours. Holding my baby. Afraid to let go. The nurse asked, "Do you want me to take the baby?" I shook my head. No, not yet. I wanted more time. Just one more hour. One more minute. One more second. But time doesn't listen. That night, I left the hospital. But my baby didn't come with me. I walked out with empty arms and a heart that would never be full again. I stepped outside the hospital. The air was cold. The sky was gray. My hands were empty. My arms felt heavy. I kept thinking, this is wrong. I should be carrying my baby. My husband walked beside me. He was quiet, too quiet. We didn't look at each other. We didn't talk. The car was waiting. I sat inside. I stared at my lap. I could still smell my baby's blanket. I could still feel the weight, but my arms were empty. The drive home felt long. Every red light hurt. Every turn hurt. I thought about the room, the yellow walls, the white crib, the little socks in the drawer. I didn't want to go inside. I didn't want to see it. We reached the house. The door opened. The smell of home came in. It didn't feel like home anymore. It felt like a stranger's house. I walked inside slowly. The silence followed me. It was heavy. It pressed on my chest. I stood in the hallway. The baby's room was at the end. The door was open. I couldn't go in, not yet. My husband touched my shoulder. He whispered, "Do you want me to close the door?" I shook my head. "No, leave it." Part of me wanted to see it. Part of me didn't. I went to the kitchen instead. The sink was clean. The table was empty. I sat down. I put my head in my hands. I could hear it in my mind, the crying that never happened, the laughter I would never hear. Hours passed. I didn't eat. I didn't drink. I just sat there, thinking, feeling, breaking. I heard my husband in the baby's room. He was moving things. I walked in. The room was soft and bright. The yellow walls looked happy, but I was not happy. The crib was ready. The blankets were folded. The little socks were still in the drawer. I touched the crib. It was cold, empty. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw everything, but I didn't. That night, I lay in bed. I didn't sleep. I kept my hand on my stomach. It felt empty. I remembered how it felt when my baby was inside, when I could feel the little kicks. Now, there was nothing. The next morning, I woke up to silence, no crying, no tiny voice calling for me. I went to the baby's room again. I sat on the floor. I held a blanket. It smelled like dreams that would never come true. Days passed. People sent flowers, cards. They said, "I'm sorry for your loss." But those words didn't fix my heart. Nothing could. At night, I closed my eyes. I saw my baby's face, perfect, still, gone. I whispered into the dark, "I miss you." No one answered. I thought about the hospital, the moment I knew, the silence after the birth, the doctor's eyes. It replayed in my head again and again, like a cruel movie I couldn't stop. 1 week later, I still hadn't left the house. I didn't want to see people. I didn't want to smile. I didn't want to pretend I was okay, because I wasn't okay. The phone rang. I didn't want to answer. It kept ringing. So I picked it up. It was my friend, Emily. Her voice was soft. She said, "Laura, I heard I know it." I didn't know what to say. My mouth felt dry. She asked, "Do you want to talk about it?" I said, "No." The call ended. I felt guilty, but I couldn't talk. The next day, my mother came. She brought food. She hugged me. I stood stiff. I didn't hug her back. She whispered, "I wanted to scream, 'No, it's not.' But I stayed quiet. I looked at her face. Her eyes were wet. She had lost her grandchild too. I realized grief doesn't live in one person. It spreads. The doorbell rang. It was the neighbor. She gave me a card. The card said, "With deepest sympathy." I read the words. They felt empty, like air. I went back to the baby's room. I sat on the floor. I touched the crib again. I wondered, did my baby know me? Did they feel my love? At night, I lay awake. I thought about what people say, everything happens for a reason. I hated that sentence. There was no reason for this. No reason my baby didn't get to live. The following week, the hospital called. They asked if I wanted the baby's things. A hat. A tiny bracelet with the name. I said yes. When the package came, I held it like treasure. I opened it slowly. The hat was so small, white, with little blue dots. It smelled like the hospital. The bracelet was even smaller. It had my last name on it. I cried until I couldn't breathe. One afternoon, I tried to go outside. I walked down the street. A woman with a stroller passed by. I froze. My legs felt weak. I wanted to run away, but I kept walking. The baby inside the stroller cried. The sound cut into me like glass. I came home. I locked the door. I curled up on the couch. I realized the world keeps moving, but I'm stuck. People still ask questions. When are you having kids? They don't know. They don't understand. Sometimes I just smile. Sometimes I walk away. Sometimes I cry in the bathroom. The hardest part is knowing my baby was here and now isn't. A whole life gone before it began. At night, I whisper into the dark again. I love you. It's the only thing I can give.
The sun was shining, but my world was still dark. It had been 2 months. 2 months without my baby. I still counted the days. I still woke up hoping it was a dream. It never was. One morning, I stood in the hallway. I looked at the baby's room. I felt a pull. A voice in my head said, "It's time. Time to open the door. Time to face it." I stepped inside. The air was still. The smell of new furniture was faint. I touched the crib. I ran my hand over the blanket. My knees felt weak. I sat on the floor. I opened the dresser. Inside were tiny clothes, a yellow onesie, a soft hat, little socks. I held them to my face. I breathed in. No baby smell, only fabric. It felt like holding a ghost. My husband came in. He sat beside me. He put his arm around me. He whispered, "We don't have to do this today." But I shook my head. No, I need to. We started packing the things, not to throw away, not to forget, just to keep safe. We folded each piece slowly, carefully. It felt like folding my heart. We put the clothes in a box, the blankets too, the little toys. I kept the hat, the hospital hat. That was mine to hold. When the room was empty, it felt bigger, but colder. I stood in the doorway. I whispered, "This was supposed to be yours." That night, I dreamed of my baby. In the dream, they were warm. They were breathing. They were smiling. I woke up with tears on my face. Weeks passed. I tried to go outside more. I saw children in the park. Some ran. Some laughed. Each laugh hurt, but it also reminded me that joy still exists somewhere. One day, my friend Emily invited me to her house. I didn't want to go, but she said, "Just come for tea." I went. We sat in her kitchen. We didn't talk about my baby. We just talked about little things. For 1 hour, I didn't cry. That night, I thought, maybe I can keep living. Not the same one, a different one, a broken one, but still, a life. The pain was still there. It always would be. But maybe I could carry it, like a stone in my pocket, heavy, but part of me. A year passed. 1 whole year without my baby. The days felt long. The nights felt longer. I still counted the weeks. I still remembered the day. On the morning of the anniversary, I woke up early. I sat on the edge of my bed. I held the hospital hat in my hands. I pressed it to my face. It still smelled faintly of that day. I closed my eyes. I whispered, "I remember you." My husband and I went to the park. We sat under a big tree. We didn't speak much. We brought flowers, white ones. We placed them in the water by the pond. The petals floated away. I watched them until I couldn't see them anymore. That afternoon, we came home. I lit a small candle in the baby's room, even though it was empty. The flame flickered. It felt like a heartbeat. Sometimes I see mothers with strollers. Sometimes I hear babies laugh. Sometimes I hear them cry. It still hurts, but it's a softer hurt now, not the sharp pain of before. I started writing letters. Letters to my baby. I told them about my day, about the weather, about the flowers in the garden. I wrote, "I hope you can see them." I kept the letters in a box, my box of love. One day, Emily invited me to a gathering. There were children there. A little girl with curly hair ran up to me. She held a flower. She smiled. "For you," she said. I smiled back. It felt strange, but warm. That night, I dreamed of my baby again. This time they were walking. They turned to look at me. They reached out their hand. I woke up, reaching back. I started to find small ways to remember. A necklace with their birthstone, a plant in the garden, a song I played when I missed them. I learned that grief doesn't go away. It changes shape. Some days I cry. Some days I smile. Some days I do both. And that's okay. When people ask if I have children, I pause. I breathe. Sometimes I say, yes, but they live in heaven. Sometimes I say nothing at all. The world thinks my baby is gone, but to me, they're everywhere. In the wind, in the rain, in the light through my window, always here. It had been 2 years. 2 years without holding my baby. I still thought about them every day, every night. One, and I wanted. Morning, I stood in the garden. The sun was soft, the air was warm. I whispered their name. For the first time out loud in a long time. It felt strange, but beautiful. Even for so long, I was afraid to say it, afraid it would hurt too much. But I realized it already hurt. Keeping it inside didn't make it easier. I began saying their name more often. In the letters I wrote, in the quiet moments before sleep. It felt like giving them life again. Not in my arms, but in my voice. One evening, I lit the candle in the baby's room. I sat in the doorway. The room was still empty, but it didn't feel lonely anymore. I spoke to them. I told them I loved them. I told them I was proud of them. I told them, "You made me a mother, even if you couldn't stay." The tears came, but they were soft, not like the storms of before. I realized something. Grief had turned into love. Love that didn't need to end. I started helping other mothers who had lost their babies too. We shared our stories. We shared our tears. We shared our children's names. It felt like healing. Not complete, but enough. One night, I dreamed again. My baby was older now. They were laughing, running in a field of yellow flowers. They waved at me. I waved back. I woke up smiling. I still wish they were here. I still wish I could hold them. But I know they're part of me. Forever. People think the day my baby didn't come home was the end of my story. It wasn't. It was the start of a different story. One about love that never dies. So now, when I look at the sky, when I see the sun, when I hear the rain, I say, I see you, I love you, I will carry you always. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe so we can share more stories of love, loss, and hope together.